What up, guys? I'm back here again, and I'm doing the review of my most anticipated movie of all time, and Avengers Endgame. I watched it. I watched it day before yesterday, and it was awesome. It was just everything I ever wanted it to be. But the thing is that it's not the action scenes which mattered in this movie. It's not like Infinity War. Infinity War was a full-on action blockbuster. This movie is the more emotionally satisfying movie because there are a few characters which I never thought would get the kind of depth they got in this movie, because characters like Black Widow I thought were a lot better. I mean, Black Widow was the best she's ever been in any movie yet. Like, she is the best she's ever been. And even Clint, Hawkeye, he gets a lot of depth, and I have to say, like, this is the most depth he's ever gotten in an MCU movie. He's just great. Hawkeye is amazing. I mean, both of these characters, they're so emotionally related. You get to know when Black Widow sacrifices herself for the Soul Stone. You get to know how much they love each other. I mean, it was so sad. I mean, I cried, like 5 to 6 times in this movie. Black Widow dying was just one of them. Okay, just one of them. And I cried my eyes out when she died, because I kind of wanted Hawkeye to sacrifice himself, because I was not emotionally attached to his character mostly, but I'm okay with Black Widow dying, and it was just emotionally like heart-wrenching. It was sad, okay? It was really sad. Then characters like Captain America, Hulk. I mean, Hulk and Thor are completely different characters in this movie. Holy shit. Hulk is Professor Hulk in this movie. He is smart, but he's also strong. And I loved it. Some people did not like that. Some people just like, that's annoying. Okay, that's not how I wanted it to be. But for me, it was okay. I loved it. And Fat Thor was great. I mean, it kind of shows that a hero doesn't have to be always perfect. You know, like, Thor was fat, but still he goes on to beat the shit out of Thanos. You know, that's what shows. Like, you don't need a perfect body state to be a hero. You know, you don't need a perfect body condition like Captain America or Iron Man to actually be a hero. You know, even if you're fat, even if you're physically challenged, you could actually be a hero, and that's what he proves to this movie. But some people wouldn't view that in this way, but still, I liked it. This movie is not as action heavy as Infinity War. Infinity War is a full-on action blockbuster. This has some really minimized action scene, but the last 1 hour is a gigantic action sequence, and it is, I have to say, the last 1 hour is superhero movie perfection. I mean, it is the best finale battle I have ever seen in a movie, because like, this is one of the finale battles which actually does bring conclusion to something. You know, it actually does feel like, holy shit, this is gonna end, man. This is the end of everything. You just feel it in that way, because there are so many moments where I actually genuinely cried in the finale battle. Like, the Avengers team up, the dusted Avengers coming back, and Captain America screaming, "Avengers assemble." I mean, those were really goosebumps and really, like, emotionally investing moments like that. And Tony Stark's death. Oh my god, I cried the shit out of that moment. I mean, I was so sad. I mean, you just had to see my face. I have never been this sad in a movie theater till now. I mean, he is one of the best movie characters ever made, Iron Man. I mean, he's just so good. I mean, like Tom Holland, Spider-Man coming in crying, "We won, Mr. Stark, we won." You know, that just gives me this really big heartbreak inside my, like, it's really emotionally satisfying, and even while talking about it, I still feel emotional, because that's how much I just love it. I mean, this movie is it's not perfect. It does have some dumb moments, like the rat coming and rescuing Ant-Man. I thought that was kind of like so. It was kind of like Doctor Strange depended on that rat for this outcome for the Avengers to win. Just think about it. It's actually dumb, and that resulted in a number of plot holes. But it was kind of like Dark Knight Rises. Have you seen Dark Knight Rises? It has a ton of plot holes, but I still completely love that movie. I just did not bother the plot holes, and that's the kind of movie this is. There is so much awesome stuff, so much awesomeness, so much emotionally satisfying moments, so much badass moments, so much goosebumpsy moments that I just didn't care about that stuff. I just didn't care about the simple, stupid plot holes. I just felt like, okay, that can be left. Okay, I just want to see the epic stuff happen. And this movie is epic, and this is the culmination of 22 movies mixed into one. And oh my god, and Tony Stark's funeral. If I was already teared up, I was already like, oh my god, this is sad. And then the funeral comes on, and I'm already like breaking down, crying. I mean, if the theater wasn't full, I would have been like on the floor, like beating my heart out because it's just so sad. Okay, the character which started the universe is now dead. Just imagine. And I have to say, this is the best MCU movie ever. I mean, look, as a superhero movie, I would say Infinity War is better because it has a lot of action scenes and as usual, big action set pieces. What a superhero movie should have. This movie does have one huge action set piece, but other than that, there's just some small moments which I really liked. So people would come into this movie and they wouldn't understand stuff. Like people who are not MCU fans, they could come into this movie and they would be like, I don't understand that because you need to watch all the MCU movies to actually understand this one. Movies like Captain America: First Avenger, the first Avengers movie, Thor: The Dark World, and two or three other movies. Those movies require entire attention if you want to understand this movie because there's a lot of fan service, a ton of fan service in this movie. Like the second hour of this movie was basically fan service, callbacks to old movies and some previous references. By the way, that Hail Hydra sequence, that was so badass. I mean, so badass. And there are badass moments like that, like Captain America picking up Thor's hammer, Mjolnir. I mean, I wanted to jump around in my theater, but there were just people everywhere. I just wanted to scream, but now there were people everywhere, so I didn't want to embarrass myself. Look, overall, this movie is great, and it's a more emotionally satisfying movie, lot more emotionally satisfying movie than Infinity War. Infinity War did not have much moments where I could cry. There were like two or three, but this movie was, in fact, fantastic. I'm gonna give the movie an A plus. A plus is the only grade I could ever think of to give this movie. Like A plus. A plus. Okay, again, the plot holes are there, but I could just ignore them because the movie covers itself like throughout by putting badass and awesome freaking moments that you could actually ignore the plot holes for this movie. So I'm gonna give it an A plus. Bye guys, and see you in my next video.